Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Matt Fatemi. Going into our next segment here, we're going to talk a little bit about the Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves series. The Timberwolves going up 3-1 now, winning both of the games, sweeping the Warriors on their home floor now in Game 3 and Game 4, have won 3 straight, and have now pushed the Warriors to the brink of elimination. We have a lot to discuss about Jimmy Butler as well as the rest of the Minnesota Timberwolves squad and beyond. But before I move any further, I'd like to remind you guys to please like and follow the show for more GSMC Sports Network content. Also, you get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask that you use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I see it. It also really helps out the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net for all your questions and comments. But let's get right into it here. Before I move into this segment, I want to apologize for a little bit of a somber tone that I have right now. That last segment, this is a tough day for me, so I hope you guys can bear with me as we continue on with the show. I just wanted to let you guys know, because I know most of the time I have some more energy in my voice, but yeah, we talked about it last segment. I'm not going to go back and gloss over it. Back to what I was talking about here. We had, honestly, what I called a must-win game for the Warriors last night, but I guess Jimmy Butler didn't think so. Didn't think the same, because to say that he was missing on the court was an understatement. 5 of 9 shooting. Before I go there, the Timberwolves winning this one 117-101, and honestly, what was the dramatic fashion? Julius Randle going off for 31 points, Anthony Edwards going for 30 points. The star players for the Timberwolves showed up and showed out in a game where they could have put their foot on the Warriors' necks, and they did just that. Then the Warriors are at the Timberwolves' mercy now. The Warriors have to go into Minnesota not once, but twice, and win 3 straight to win this series. They have to win 2 straight to force a Game 7 back in Minnesota, but they have to win 3 straight to win this series. And without Steph Curry in the lineup, I'm just not picking this Warriors team to do it. The Warriors had one job. Let me take a step back here. Before we even look at last night, the Warriors had one job. One. And they got 3 opportunities to do so. Win 1 game, give Steph Curry an opportunity to come back in Game 6, down 3-2, and try and win the series. That was it. It sounds easier said than done, but that was it. You had 3 opportunities to do it. Game 2, Game 3, and Game 4. Game 2, you could say, okay, they lost because, it was on the Minnesota Timberwolves home floor. Minnesota lost Game 1. If they lost Game 2, the series was pretty much over. I get that 100%. I absolve you of Game 2. You can say that even though you shot horribly and the Timberwolves blew you out, we'll give you guys a pass there. That was Game 2. Game 3, Jimmy Butler gives you his best game, goes off for 37 points, gives you the best opportunity you could have to win the game. Jonathan Kuminga goes off for 30 points. And Buddy Hield and Brandon Podziemski can't hit the backside of a barn. And the Timberwolves win by 5 points. That's Game 3. Now in Game 4, you knew that the Warriors needed to come out and win this game. You knew that the Timberwolves were going to come out and try and put their foot on your neck and try and destroy it. Because if you lost this game, the series is pretty much over. They were trying to end your season last night. Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy. You have the title of playoff Jimmy. You are supposed to be the Robin to Steph Curry's Batman, but we know how you play in the playoffs. We've seen you in the Miami Heat uniform. But when you put on that Miami Heat uniform and you did it for 4 or 5 straight years, we expect that's the standard that you set. That's the expectation now. So let's get into last night's game. 5 of 9 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, 14 points. This is Jimmy Butler we're talking about here. This is the same level that we compare Jimmy Butler to the same way we compare. I'm trying to even think. Tyrese Halliburton, maybe you could call Tyrese Halliburton. You could put Tyrese Halliburton on that list. You could put Donovan Mitchell on the list. You could put Jamal Murray on the list. The elite playoff players in the NBA. That is the category we put Jimmy Butler in. He literally has his name, Playoff Jimmy. And you go off for 14 points when your team needs you most to win a game, and you get blown out by 16 on your home floor and let Steph Curry have to try and will him. Steph Curry is going to do everything in his power to come back in Game 5 now, whether he's healthy or not. And you're going to risk his injury. He's going to risk his own injury. He's going to do it. Because that is who Steph Curry is. He's going to put his body on the line to try and will his team back into the playoff picture, into this series, trying to bring him back. And Jimmy Butler, you had one job. You let Jonathan Kuminga outshoot you. You let Draymond Green put up more shots than you. You let Brandon Podziemski put up more shots than you. You let Buddy Hield put up more shots than you. And you are supposed to be the best player on this team. Right now, without Steph Curry. You are supposed to be the leader. You are supposed to be playoff Jimmy Butler when your team needs you most. Yes, you showed up in Game 3. That was phenomenal. And the team around you did not show up, and it was unfortunate. But you needed to show up tonight. And what did you do instead? You walled over, laid down to the side and said, I don't want to, and put up a solid 14 points. The Warriors are sitting ducks now for the Timberwolves to take care of in Game 5. Even if Steph Curry comes back, maybe they win Game 5, but this series ends in 6. This series is over, though, unfortunately, and this series is over. Plain and simple. I want to say it's unfortunate. It sucks. It's this, that, and the other. And it is. But if we're going to talk about this series right now, if we're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors, we cannot let Jimmy Butler off the hook for this. We can't. As much as I say Jimmy Butler, I like Jimmy Butler. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. This is something that you're going to hold over him. Because he didn't show up when the Warriors needed him most. Sorry, I have hiccups right now. Excuse me. So, let's recap. Timberwolves are up 3-1. Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle are continuing to show up and show out, looking to punch their ticket to their second straight conference final. And the Warriors are on the brink of elimination. They look like they're sitting ducks. They look like they have no hope to even have a chance to muster a game. They muster one game and then they lose 4 straight. That's what it looks like. And I would be shocked if we see Steph Curry come back in this series. Steph Curry's injury is the best kept secret in San Francisco. We haven't heard a peep about it from anybody, from the locker room all the way through. We saw Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield and Anthony Edwards talking about it, and we tried to do some lips reading. But even then, it looks like Steph Curry will not be back in Game 5. The earliest is Game 6. I still believe that. So that's just the state of affairs in Golden State. And yeah, if they win, we'll have more to talk about for Game 5. But props to the Minnesota Timberwolves continuing to show up and show out, because they absolutely deserve this series win with how they've played all playoffs long. First knocking out the Lakers, now knocking out the Golden State Warriors, 2 teams that were up there in terms of hype to win the NBA championship, especially the Lakers. When you have 2 guys with Julius Randle playing his best playoffs of his career, you have Anthony Edwards showing up to drop 30 points whenever he wants, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Mike Conley. I've said this team is incredibly deep from top to top down. You have Jaden McDaniels going off for double-doubles. Like, this is one of the best teams in the West. It truly is. And I'm very happy to see this team playing the way they are, because this is a Timberwolves team that's been knocking on the door for a while now. They lost to the team that went to the NBA Finals last year in the Dallas Mavericks, losing in 5 games. And now, whether they face the Thunder in what would be a fantastic matchup, or they face the Denver Nuggets in what would be a rematch of last year's playoffs, regardless of who it is in the conference finals, it's going to be an unbelievable Western Conference Finals. And I can't wait to start previewing that series, and can't wait for that series to be underway. But yeah, that's the state of affairs in this series between the Warriors and the Timberwolves. So I'm going to leave it on that note just because there isn't a whole lot to talk about. I chastised Jimmy Butler for his performance, and the rest of the team, you can't really do so. Draymond Green doing the best he can. Jonathan Kuminga leading the way with 23 points. Whether they decide to trade Jonathan Kuminga in the offseason or not, whatever they decide to do, Jonathan Kuminga is still a good player, and he should be on another team. He should be a startable, if not a six-man asset for another team. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all transpires in Golden State. But I'm going to leave it on that note. I'm going to take another short break. Coming up next, we're going to switch gears from the NBA playoffs over to the draft lottery. Madness in the draft lottery last night. Cooper Flagg going to a shocking team. Somebody that we didn't even expect to scratch the surface of a top 5 pick. And it kind of shakes up the entire NBA slate. So we'll have a lot to discuss there. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.